Hello, this is RB Jewels with STO Handmade Jewelry and Craft Corner. Today, we're going to do the double strand right angle weave bracelet. In the last video, I showed the single strand right angle weave bracelet. So if this is your first time looking at the video, I would suggest that you stop this video and go look at the single strand right angle weave bracelet before you make this bracelet. So in this video, you're going to need a pair of scissors, and that's to cut the thread, which I use the Wildfire. And they have other threads also, but this is mainly my go-through. I mostly use black, but they also have other colors that you can use. And these are 3mm Preciosa bicone crystals, and they are so pretty. Look at that. Moving forward, then you have a beautiful 8/0 seed bead that we're going to be using as the main bead for the bracelet. And then we have 11/0 seed bead that we're going to be using for the clasp. And I always have a pair of jewelry pliers nearby. So when I do my thread, which I've already threaded my needle, as you can see, it flattens out the thread really nicely so that it will go through the needle. And you'll need an 11/0 beading needle for this. And you're going to need several arm spans of thread for this project. So after I show you how to tie off and to add new thread, you will follow the same process to add new thread for each new time that you may need more thread. So we're going to put all of this aside. Okay. Also, and if you find it difficult for you to work with long strands of thread, you can use smaller lengths of thread. Oh, and you also need a clasp. You can also use smaller lengths of thread if it's comfortable for you, and you can just add thread as you need it. Okay, so we're going to start with these 8/0 seed beads right here. Okay. And we're going to start with this. This might be enough, and we may have to add more, but we're going to see. We're going to set these aside, and we'll come back to them as we'll need them. So what you want to do is you're going to pick up 4 seed beads. See? You're going to pick up 4. Hold them in your hand, and you're going to bring your needle down to about 3 or 4 inches, and this is just to work on the other side to add a part of your clasp, because we're going to use the other side for the main working needle. So you want to just have enough so that you can add your clasp and so that you can tie it in. So what you want to do now is you're going to go through 1 bead. You're going to go through 1 bead. You're going to hold the other thread, hold the bead in your hand, and pull it through. I think I made a mistake, and I did, but that's okay. So you just put the bead back on if you make that mistake, which was good to see. And instead of coming on this side, you're going to come on this side. Okay? Hold it in. Okay? And when you finish, you should have like a little tiny square. Now at this point, generally what happens, you could tie up, you could go around and tie it off. I don't. I generally just leave it, because once you go around, let me see, what did I just do here? I just did something a little weird here. There we go. Okay. And you're gonna go around go through the bead again, and then you will see your little flower. You also need a ruler to measure the length of your bracelet. For me, I generally do 7 inches, and then I use the rest of that space of the length of the bracelet to add a clasp. So, because I wear 7.5 sometimes, closer to an 8. So I use the rest of that space to add the clasp. So once you go around, you come back and you'll see the little flower square. And you're gonna come back through. And you wanna come to the bottom. Now you wanna sew this kind of tight, because it's gonna be kind of wiggly anyway, and that's okay. And you're still gonna have your flower square. Okay. So at this point, we're not picking up 3-4 beads anymore. You're only gonna pick up 3 beads, because we're gonna be working from the middle bottom bead, and that's where we're gonna add on our 3 beads from here on in. Now, generally what I do, because I do like for my piece to be tight, not overly tight, but so that you have better control over the beads. And you want to go through all the beads until you get back to the bottom middle section. And you want to hold on to it. Now the thing with right angle weave is it's just that it's going to always find that right angle. So there are going to be times that, excuse me for shaking the camera, there are going to be times that when you do the right angle weave, you're going to follow it in one direction and you will find yourself going in another direction. That's because it's always finding just what it says, that right angle. Okay. So as you can see, this looks a little wonky right now, but we are not going to worry about it, because I promise you, as you continue to do this, it's going to get better. So sometimes when you are working on a piece, you cannot see how it's going to look, and it may even get a little discouraging to try to finish it. But that's when you got to keep going, because sometimes it's not until you finish that you see how beautiful your work turns out. I've experienced that many times, and I just had to be patient with myself. So again, as you can see, again, we're just using this middle bottom bead to add the beads. And you're going to go around one whole complete time and come back down to the bottom bead. Now you can, me going through all the beads like this is pretty easy because the holes are larger. You can do this with smaller beads, but as you continue to go through the beads, especially when you make multiple passes, you have to kind of be careful, because it can strip your thread. Okay, as you can see, we have 3 flower beads. So we're going to do this a couple of more times, and then what you're going to do after you measure your wrist, you're going to sew down to within an inch, which will be a half an inch on each side of your bracelet, unless you like larger bracelets. You're going to sew down to within a half inch of each side of your bracelet. Like for me, I sew down to a 7. And then I use the rest of that to add the clasp. So when I finish, it's going to be an 8. So you're going to come down like this. And you position it comfortably in your hand as you need, and you feel comfortable. You will find out what that is for you. And even as we're beading, you will notice that you'll either come out on this side of the thread or this side of the thread, and that's because it's constantly finding that right angle. So we're going to do this one more time together, and once you finish sewing down to your bracelet size within a half an inch of each side on your bracelet size, and then we're going to go to the next step. So let's sew this one together. Okay, as you can see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 little units completed together. If you need to go back and look at this step before you move forward, it is greatly welcomed. Just take your time, and we're going to have fun with this. But at this point, go and finish sewing your units together until you get your bracelet size, and we will come back and we will move to the next step. And we're back. You should have sewn down to your bracelet length, which for me, as I've shown you, is a 7. And then I'm going to add other measurements later on. Right now, we're going to go to the next step, which means we're going to add another row of the right angle weave, okay? So to do this, you're going to come down through the side bead, okay? And you're going to pick up 3 beads. Okay, and you're going to come down, and you're going to sew out to the side. Okay, for this one, I'm going to go around again, a complete circle. And y'all, I'm saying this, I am left-handed. So if this looks a little weird to you, okay? So after you do this, you're not going to pick up 3 beads anymore because you have the beads. And I know, again, it still looks wonky, but we're going to be using these side beads right here and the middle beads. So from this point on, you're going to pick up just 2 beads. And this is where you got to be really, really careful. So let's calm down. Okay. You're going to pick up 2 beads. Sorry about that. And you're going to go up this side bead of your main bead row. Okay. And you're going to come back through on that side, and you're going to come down. Now this is the row where you actually will see where the beads will change. See how we started out coming out on this side? Now we're going to come in on this side, and I know this just looks like super weird right now, but I promise you it's going to look better. And you're going to come down. Okay? We're only going to be working with these 2 beads right here. Okay? You're going to pick up 2 beads, and you're going to come through this middle bead. We're only going to be working with the middle bead and the side bead. Okay? And you're going to come through. And you're going to come down. And you're going to come out. Okay? Now, what's going to happen, you're going to pick up 2 beads. And you're going to come up this side bead. Okay? You're going to hold it, and you're going to go through this bottom bead. And you're going to come down. You're going to come through that bottom bead, and you're going to come down that side bead. You're going to pick up 2 beads, and you're going to come back up through this middle bead and back down again through the side bead. And you're going to go through the bottom bead. Okay? And you do want to pull them tight. You don't want it to be loose. See how that's a little loose? But we'll fix that up when we add the embellishments. But you want to add them tight. So, you want to pick up 2 beads, go up the side bead, and go through the bottom bead. Okay? Then you're going to come back down, pull it tight. You're going to come back down through the side, through the middle. Sorry about that. Shaking the camera. And you're going to come up the side bead. Now you can start to see how it's finding the right angle weave. If you couldn't see it before, you can still definitely see it now. And you're going to come back up through that middle bead. That's what we're only working with, the middle bead and the side bead. However that angle is finding its way to the right angle. And you're going to come down and you're going to come out. And we're going to do this one more time. Okay, maybe two more times. We're going to do this two more times. We're going to pick up 2 beads, go up the side bead. Go up through this middle bead. And if it helps you to turn it, do just that. You're going to come down. You're going to come through the middle bead, and the side bead. You're going to pick up 2 beads. You're going to go through the middle bead. And the side bead. And you're going to come out of that bottom bead. We're going to do it together one more time. Pick up 2 beads. Go up the side bead. Go through the bottom bead. Come down the side bead. Come through the bottom bead. Come down the side bead. Sorry about that. And you're going to pick up 2 beads and you're going to circle right here, come out, circle. So it's going to be back and forth, kind of like a zigzag motion, because it's constantly finding the right angle weave. And don't worry about it. We'll fix it. It's going to look beautiful when we finish. So you continue to sew down to add to your bracelet length, and we will continue when you finish. And we're back. So you should have added the complete second row of your right angle weave. The only thing I want to say is when you finish up your last row and you come out and you do your complete circle, adding your last 2 beads, you want to come all the way out and you want to come out on, let me go back through. Let me go back through, because now we're going to add the embellishment. I want to talk about that a bit, okay? You want to come out at the top, and on this side, on both sides, we're only going to be working with the middle row. Now I know you say it's looking kind of crazy, but just take your time and just follow the middle row, the middle beads in each row, the bottom beads in each row. So what we're going to do, you're going to pick up a crystal, okay, and you're going to go sideways. We're going to be zigzagging back and forth, okay. Take your time. And you want the bead to sit on top of this right angle, okay? And then you want to come back through on this side, and we're going to do the same thing. Okay? And you want to make sure that the bead is on the top. Okay? And then you're going to come back on the other side and you're going to do the same thing again. And don't worry about it, we're going to fix up the sides. It's going to be totally nice when we finish. Be careful, because see this? This was a disaster waiting to happen. But we're not going to do that. This is why I suggested that if you have issues working with large amounts of thread, you can use a smaller amount of thread, because bead knots, knots in a thread are bound to happen. It's inevitable. It's inevitable. I don't care how well you bead, how long you've been beading, it's going to happen. Because the beads and the thread sometimes have a mind of their own, and they want to do it their way. And again, you want to get the bead to lay on top of that. Okay. And then you want to pull it a little bit. Okay. And then you're going to pick up another bead. And you're going to come on this side and you're going to zip right through the bottom bead on this side. Just take your time. Just make sure your beads are laying on top of each other. Nice and neat. Like that. Okay. We're going to do this one more time. You can hold the thread on that side, that way you can control the thread better. Okay, so now I need to move the scissors out of the way, because they want to join in on the party and help bead the bracelet, but that's not how that works. Okay, you see how that works? We're going to do one more together. And then we're going to come back and we're going to do the other side together. So put the needle through. Take your time. And set your bead on top, just like that. So this is what you want to do, and you want to continue this. And you want to continue all the way down in your first row, and I'm going to show you how to start the second row. And then after that point, we'll be ready to add the clasp. So we're back, and you should have finished a whole complete side. Okay, so once you come out on this side, let me get my needle so I can show you. Once you come out on this side, you're going to loop all the way around, and you're going to come back through. Let me see how I did it. Yeah. So I haven't done this in a long time, y'all. So as you see, you're going to come back up through here, and you want to end up here. and you're going to crisscross back over here, and you're going to pull your crystal down. And then you're going to do the same exact thing. Follow that middle bead. And as you can see, as you add the crystals into the middle space, it actually straightens up the entire bracelet. It gives it more form. And if you hear noise in the background, it is the air conditioner. So sorry about that. So let me turn it over. So see how it looks a little wonky, but see how you add the beads in the middle? It gives you more, becomes more uniform. You can actually see the two rows separately as it straightens out. Okay, just wanted to show you that. And also, I forgot to show you how to add thread. So I'm going to walk you through it. So say your thread is about that long. So what you would do is that you would go circle around on the inner side of the bead right here. You would tie it, do a double knot, and you would come back through again and probably sew down through, and then right about here you would cut the thread off. Then you could come in through here on this side and add thread, and once you add your thread and tie your knot off, and then you would continue to sew your main base of your bracelet. And it also would apply if you needed to do that to add the crystals as well. Okay, so I'm going to do one more with you, and you're going to finish adding the crystals yourself. And then the last thing we're going to do together in this beading class is add the clasp together. So let's add this one here together. Remember, take your time. That way you can control your thread. I know you see me move pretty fast, and that's because I've been doing it a long time, but I still make mistakes because I'm going fast. Okay. So as you can see, the beads are nice and they're uniform and they're all going in the same direction. So go ahead on and finish this row of beads. And when we come back, we're going to add the clasp, and then we're going to show you this beautiful bracelet. Okay, so you should have finished putting on all these beautiful crystals. Okay, so once you finish that, you want to come down through this side bead, and we're going to add some beads on the side here. Yep. So let's see how many beads will fit. Thinking it's two beads. And you're gonna come down the side. Yep. 2 beads. So let's add 2 more right here, just to make sure they fit. I'm loving these muted colors, and they do. So let's try 2 more, because these are tohos, and tohos have a tendency to be a little big. And it works. So I want you to go down the sides, and if you're working with tohos or whatever 2 beads that you're adding, even if you're working with 15s, then you know you'll add 3 beads. Go down the side, and we're going to add the clasp. I'm going to come back and show you how to add the clasp, and then we're going to go down the other side, and we're going to add the clasp, and we're going to call this bracelet done. So I'm going to meet you back here when you finish adding the beads. So I decided to take the seed beads out. For whatever reason, the math just wasn't mathing. I'm not going to question this, maybe because of the way the crystal, the toe holes, like I said, they're often larger, so I'm not going to worry about it. So, but I went back and I added the crystals, and then I added a seed bead here. And so then now we're going to add a clasp. Okay, we're going to pick up a clasp. We're going to pick up a crystal, and we're going to pick up at least 9 beads. Okay, 6 more. Okay. And we're going to drop the crystal all the way down into this middle section. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to come back down through the middle beads, and we're going to come out of this top bead. Trying to figure out what happened here. Okay, something weird happened here. Let me see what happened. Okay, I did something weird. And that's okay. We'll fix it. That's what you do. Okay. Now let's try it again. Trying to have it so you can see it. Okay. So what we're gonna have to do, because you can see it's turning, right? We're gonna have to go back down through this side. And we're gonna have to go back up through this side. Okay. And then we're gonna come, let me see, where am I? We're gonna come up through, no, we're gonna go, we have to go up. That's the thing about right angle weave. You have to follow the right angle, which means we're gonna have to go all the way around in the circle. And you're gonna have to go back around. Let me see. Let's see, how can we do this? Okay, I'm gonna have to come back down through here like this. I'm gonna have to come back up through this bead like this. We're on the other side of this. Trying to my best to stay in frame. We're gonna come back up through the bead here. You know what? We're right here. We're going to come back up. There we go. Come back up through that bead. The crystal, we're going to come back up through the crystal. And then we're going to come back up through that bead. And you're going to have to do the same thing on the other side, and then come back through the bead on the other side. Okay. Come up through the beads. And you can come through as many times as you feel like you need to. Okay. I'll go back and tighten it up some more later. As you can see, is that the the beaded clasp did stabilize, and it's in the middle like it should be. So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna come back, we're gonna come on this side, and you're gonna do the same thing. You're gonna add a bead here. You're gonna come all the way down on this side. When you get to these two middle beads after you add the seed bead, you're going to pick up 3 beads, you'll clasp another 3 beads, and you're going to come back down, and you're going to follow the same steps in closing off this clasp as you did adding this bead. So finish that up, and we'll come back and take a look at the finished piece. And we are finished. We made it through the finish line. We added the base, we added some crystals, we added a clasp and a hook, and we just finished the entire bracelet. I hope you had fun making this bracelet. Oh, I want to show you one other detail. See how the back side straightened up, became very uniform once you added the crystal embellishments. So sometimes you just gotta take your time and see it through. So also too, when you're making jewelry, understand that in your process that you'll change your mind a million times. You can have it planned out, you can have everything written out, and sometimes there's just a shift, and sometimes you go with the shift instead of the original plan. So I hope you had fun crafting this bracelet together. Okay, enjoy it, and see you next time.